Hi, I'm Phil, and today we're going to make a 3-key piano. A good starting point. We can look at the maths and the graph so that you can position your key on a piano keyboard, and we'll introduce a couple of new concepts. That is the use of variables to track where our current key is, and the use of buttons A and B to select the note and to play the note. And you can easily progress from a 3-key to an 8-key piano. So I'll leave the 8-key piano up to you, but I'll go through each step in constructing your own 3-key piano. Okay, let's have a look what our target is. It'll look like this. And if you press button A, you can move the current key location one at a time and just cycle through the 3 keys. And if you press button B, you'll be able to hear it play. So button B should be on top. I'll bring that a bit closer to the microphone. Okay, so let's get started and have a look at the presentation for that. Okay, so the 3-key piano, the objective is to construct a simple 3-key piano, and it will play the notes C, E, and G. And matter of coincidence, it looks a bit like a set of traffic lights. And those colors correspond to the boomwacker colors that you see on this glockenspiel. So when you press button A, it will move to the next note. And at the last note, it will just cycle through the sequence again. You press button B, it will play the note for that color, and it will also show us a different color in the circle, and we'll use a circle for the note selection. So the colors come from boomwackers, and originally started off with tubes of different lengths and colors, and these represent the notes on the scale. So a very simple C major scale, the chromatic scale, with C, then D, E, F, and G. We're just going to simply have C, E, and G. Notice there's not much difference in color between the F and the G. So this is our target. This is what it'll look like, although the color here for G is too light. It should be a much darker green than that one. And what will happen if we press button A, it will move to the next position. That is, the circle represents where we currently are, our current key position. And if we press button B, it will then play the note. So we need a speaker hat on top of our M5StickC. And we need to understand the coordinate system for the screen. So what we're going to do is, first of all, have a title. This is a new concept. We're going to put the name of the program and the version. So this is Piano 3-key version 4, and that will appear in the title block. And on this corner, our coordinate system is X, and X moves along horizontally. So this is X, Y, 0, 0, and Y moves vertically. So maximum Y is down here, and maximum X is here. So if we move along horizontally on the top line, X goes from 0 to 80. and y is the same. And down on the bottom corner, x is still 0, but y is at a maximum of 160. And on the lower corner, we've got our maximum coordinate position. XY is at 80 and 160. Now, what we want to do is be able to locate where those keys are on this coordinate system. And we want to move the circle every time we push button A. So remember, button A is here and button B is over there. Now we want to, there's our screen size, and our key size is 40 by 40. Doesn't quite look like the square here, but it should appear as a square. And the default size for selecting a rectangle is 20 by 20. Our circle is going to have a diameter of 20 pixels across. So the unit across here is called pixels, and they represents one position that you can illuminate on your screen. Okay, so here's the software. If we use our development environment called the UI Flow IDE, this is what our program will look like. And on the top left, we've got startup, nothing under loop, and all the action happens when we press button A or we press button B. So let's have a look at the setup. We're going to establish a number of variables here, and these represent the position of Y. So our key, and this represents where Y is. The key Y for the start will be at 40. The key Y for finish is at 120. And you can get an appreciation of where these numbers come from by graphing this yourself on using paper and pencil, and you'll come up with these numbers. So we're going to set the current key position for Y at 40. And for the note C, the Y position is 40. For note E, it's just add another 40 to that. And again, another 40 for G. So the note position for G is 120. And right at the start, we're going to set the current position or set position of Y to the start position, which is right on top, and that'll be 40. Now, we could have simplified this, and there are some relationships here that could be replaced with a algebraic statement. So let's have a look to see what happens. When you press button A, the current key position for Y is incremented by the increment amount. So Y position, key Y, or key pos Y is equal to the previous key pos Y plus that increment in the Y scale. Now, if that position is greater than the finish one, we just reset that. So that's actually very similar to what we did. This algorithm here is very similar to what we did with the clock. That is, we just cycle through, and when we get to the maximum one, we repeat that cycle again. We're going to have a circle to represent where our key is, and the Y position of our circle will be at the current key position. Key Y position is used to determine where the center of the circle is. But the Y, this is the Y coordinate. We're not going to do anything with X. X is just going to remain the same. So we're only moving in the Y dimension. And we're going to select a border color of white, and an inside color for that circle will be also white. So let's see what happens when we press button B. When we press button B, we'll play a note. And the way we do that, we first of all, we keep the border color as it is. The circle now becomes red. And if the current position for Y, that circle, is equal to the CY position, we then play low C for 1 beat. And we just do this and check the Y position of the circle. If it equals E, we play the E note. If the Y position equals the G position, we play the G note. And after we've played the note, we then return the circle back to a white color. Okay, so let's go and do that. So we'll bring up the program, and this is our target. This is what we want it to look like. So what we'll do is start off with a new file, clear that out. And the first thing we'll do is give the program a name. The name of the program will be key, or we can call it piano 3 key. And the version we're actually working on is version 4. So a new concept that I'm introducing is the title block. We haven't done this on programs before, but we just drag that across and we give it a name. So we can do the same. We can call it piano, but I'll just call it P because we don't have much space there. P, piano, 3, key, 4. And we just leave it as that. Now, if we actually go back and open the title, we can see that the color here, we can change the color to a different color, and we can reset the text to something different if we want. Now we bring down some of the graphics items this time, and we select a rectangle and put it on the screen. Now, if we use paper and pencil and drew a graph, we could transfer the positions of our X and Y to the screen here. So we know that the width and the height are 40, so we can put those in, 40 and 40. And it's not quite in the right position, so we want Y to be at 20. We might move X, it's too far out, we'll make that 20. Now we've got it more centrally located. So there's the center of our rectangle. That's the width and the height of our rectangle. And we'll choose a border color. Remember, it's going to be the middle C. So the color is going to be red. So there's our first key. And we do the same with all the other keys. We bring down the next rectangle and put it roughly in the middle. We open up rectangle 1. And since we're working with a width of 40, we'll change the width and the height first. And we will position our X at 20. And our Y is in the right position. So our background color now is going to be yellow. So we pick yellow there and we go up to the maximum yellow. And we've now got our second key. Our last key we'll bring down roughly to where we want it to go. And we'll adjust that. So this is rectangle number 2. And X is going to be 40. Y will be 100. And the width will be 40. And the height will also be 40. Now we've got the Y, the X is in the wrong position. We need to adjust that. That's better. And our background color this time is going to be a green color. So we'll select green. Now, the green from the boomwackers is not bright green, which is up here, but it's more like a darkish green, something about there. Okay, that's better. Now we've got the keys that represent the coordinates. I might actually improvise here and do something slightly different and bring down a label, text here, and I'm going to open that up. So this will be label 0, and I'm going to have a default there. Just leave it as it is and put the text as C. Just leave it. No, we won't rotate that one. Do the same with the next one. Bring down the label, B. This one's going to be E. The text will be E. And the last one is G. Text, change that to G. Now we're ready to do the programming. So we've already got set up. We don't really need loop, but we can put in loop and just leave it empty. We're going to use buttons A and B. So we bring down button A, and we can duplicate that and call the other one button B. Now we have to populate these. We have to put something under each of setup and also under button A and button B. So we want to keep track of where our parameters are. Now, I've actually left something out here, and that is a circle. So what I'll do is I'll go back to drawing where our current position is. We'll just drag it across to roughly where we want it to go. Not quite correct, so we'll adjust that to 40, and we'll adjust Y to 42. So it's in the right position, and it has a radius of 10, and the right color is white, and that's the one we want. So we're going to go to variables, and the first thing we're going to do is create a variable for the key position, the Y position, right at the start. So we'll call that one key position, Y coordinate at the start. And we can drag that one out. Set the key position, and it's in the right position at the moment. We open it up, we can see the Y position is 40. So we go to our maths, bring down a number, click it into that position, and we can put 40 there. So what we're doing here is taking the graph and transposing that into a series of statements that represent the graph positions. Now, we can establish the other variables. So the next variable will be key position, Y coordinate at the finish. And our finish Y will be down there somewhere. So we can get a guess of where it is. It will be 120. The key position for Y is going to be, back to maths, drag our number out, and that will be 120. Now, as we jump our circle from the first position to the next one and that one, we're jumping by 20. So if you open this up, you can see that Y is 40. And if you open the next one, you can see the Y is 60. So our increment, so we'll set a variable for increment, create a variable, and this one's going to be called key Y, pos increment. And we'll set that at the startup. Actually, I've got all those in the wrong position, so I'll put them under setup, not under loop. We go back to our maths, and we'll make that 40. And the y coordinate for our circle changes. So we want to keep track of that. And the way we keep track of it is another variable, key, position, and the y coordinate of that position. So we can set that at the start. So set the y position. We can duplicate that. So we could duplicate it here, bring it down, and just click it under. Now we want to set the y position for each one of these keys. And we need to create 3 variables for our 3 notes. So the first one's going to be called note C y POS. We know where that one is, so we can just bring it out and straight under. And the first one will be right at the start. So it will be 40. So just duplicate that one and put it under. Next one is an increment away. So we can set the, we need to create another variable. So our next variable will be, instead of C, it will be E. So we create a variable, note, E, y coordinate, position. And while we're here, we may as well create the final one, which is a variable, note, G, y position. And we'll bring those across. So we've got the note y position. And we'll just put the y one in the middle. So we've got the C, and we want E and G. So the E position will be 1 increment away. So we just add 40 to the previous one, and it will be 80. And we add another 40 for our final position, and that's our G. Now, there's only one more to start, and we need to create a variable for our y position. So we've got one here at 40, and that's probably enough. We've got the key y position, and that's the one we're going to change all the time. All of these other ones will remain fixed, but this one will change, and it will change according to where we are when we press a button. So let's do that now. We'll go to button A, and we're going to set that y position. We'll bring it out, set the y position, just bring a set across and set the y. We'll select the right variable, and we need to do a little bit of maths here. So we're going to go to maths and get an equals, drag that block across, and we're going to set the y position to the previous y position plus the y position increment. There it is there, and we drag that variable across. So what that statement says is that every time we press button A, we're going to change and track the y coordinate for our key using the previous one plus the increment, and that increment we've set to 40. Now here's our algorithm. What happens if we go beyond the maximum Y? We need to reset it and recycle here. So we go down to logic, and the first one we use is an if. Our current position is too much, then reset it. So we need another logic statement, which is the logic condition. And the condition we get from here. So if our Y position is equal to or greater than, so what we need to do is populate these. So bring down our Y position and click it in to our logical statement here. Y position is greater than the Y position finish. So we go back to our variables, the Y position finish, it's greater than that. We want to reset the Y position. The variables set, bring down the set, and we want to select the Y position and set it to the start. So we bring down start, Y position start. And what we've done here is to reset. If it's greater than the final, equal to the, or greater than the final, we can then reset it. If it's greater than, it's enough there. We want to keep the final one. Okay, so if that's the case, that's all we need to do, except we need to move our circle. Our circle's in one position. We need to move it to the next position. So the way we do that is we go to the UI and look for circle. And we have a number of statements that relate to that circle. The one we want is to position the circle at the correct Y coordinate. So we just drag this one down, just under, and we're going to set that to the current position of the Y coordinate. So we bring down our key position Y and pop it in just there. We might do the same with the border. So we go to circle, and we could change the one we've selected is the color, but we could also select the border color too. But we want to maintain that one. So the border for our circle, and our circle, if we go to our UI screen over here, it is circle 0. And we could select the initial border color and the background, and they're already white. Now, let's have a look to see what happens when we press button B. The objective is that we want to play the note. And perhaps we can just repeat that. We can select the circle again. So when you press button B, it will, we don't want to change the position. We'll delete that one. So the first one is we want to go to the border color. Keep it as it is. Go back to circle, but this time inside the circle, we're going to make it red. As soon as you press button B, the first thing is that we're going to put the inside of the circle will change to red. Now, if our Y position is in the C location, we will play the note C. So we need another algorithm here that maps position to playing the note. And what we'll do is select the if do, but this time we'll use an else. So if it's not C, it must be E or G. So the next thing we do is just do a test with a logic condition, and we bring that across. And what we're interested in doing is mapping our current Y, where the key is on its Y coordinate. So if that equals a note C, So we can find note C. Note C, bring that down and click it in there. So all we want to do now is just play the note. Now what we haven't done, there's hat. We haven't added a hat yet. So we go to hat, press the plus button, look along here for all the different hats, and the one we want is the speaker hat. Now, if you don't do this statement, you won't get the choice available to you. Make sure you've got a green tick here, and when you get that, you press the OK button. When you do that, under hat, you get all the possible statements that you can use to manipulate your speaker. Now, the one we want here is to play the tone C. So for speaker 1, we select the right note, and we'll go for low C this time. Low C for 1 beat. Now, while we've checked if it's the position for the note C, we want to repeat this. If it's not C, perhaps it could be a different position. So instead of C, it might be E. And we change the variable here. Instead of playing the note C, we play the note E. And there's only one more to check. And the final one, instead of using an if, do, else, we go back to our logic and we select an if, do, because there's nothing else after that. That's the last one we've got. And we can duplicate the first one or the previous one and just pop it under for our logic statement or our logic condition. And if it's not E, but if it's G, we play the G note. So we just duplicate that one and click it under there. So instead of playing the note E, we play the note G. So there we play C, E, and G for 1 beat. Now, after we've played the note, what we're going to do is revert our circle back to an inside white color. So we can duplicate that and put it as one of our last statements and make that white. We can do the same with the border, but we haven't done any changes with the border color. Okay, so there's our program now for our 3-key piano version 4. And what we do, go back to our M5StickC, put it into USB modes because I'm using the desktop version, and I press refresh, and it tells me that my M5StickC is connected, and I simply upload that to my M5StickC. But before I do that, I should save it. So I go down to the Save button, and under Documents M5StickC, this is the folder where we're storing our program, we save that. Now we'll just do the upload. We'll have a look to see what it looks like. I'll just stop sharing the screen, and you can have a look that we've got the right colors, and it hopefully will jump when we go to button A. You can see it jumping from one to the other. And if you press button B, it should play the note. Okay, you might have noticed that it's left a black hole when we've moved from our current position to the new position. And to overcome that, you could add a little bit more code to refresh the screen. So if you want to see how that's done, look at version 7 from Dropbox and just read the code to see how you can refresh the screen. And that will overcome the problem of the black hole. Okay, Well, thanks for that, and see you next time. Bye.